We'll start recording. Welcome, everybody. Oop, I see a few people joining us on our webinar today. I see 9 people, 11. That number is going up. While we're waiting for a few of our new students to join us, if you're able to, you can click on the chat button and tell us where you are joining us from. Singapore, welcome. Hello, everybody. Hi, Mohammed. From Peru, Nigeria, St. Paul, Minnesota, Singapore as well, Minneapolis, Stillwater, Panama. Oh, I know a student from Panama. India, exciting. Taiwan, Iran, Netherlands, Switzerland. Oh, this is going really fast. Okay, so exciting to see you all joining us today for the Global Gopher Experiences session. I'm going to give it a few more minutes to see, to wait for students to join us. So in the meantime, Ray, can you go ahead and play a video for us? Well, thank you, Ray, for playing that video for us, and welcome Global Gophers to the University of Minnesota. My name is Marina Uehara, and I'm the Director for Student Engagement in ISSS, or ISSS, for International Student and Scholar Services here at the university. I am very excited for each one of you beginning your academic journey here with us. I, as well, just like you, chose the University of Minnesota for my studies, and I remember having a great experience. I was an international student from Argentina, and I joined here to do my master's program. You probably noticed that we endearly call you a gopher. That is our university mascot. We call all of our students, staff, faculty, and alumni a gopher, and you will often hear us say, "Go Gophers," in that's That's the name that we have given all of the community members here at the University of Minnesota. So we now endearly call you all Global Gophers. You will also notice on my name today that I am sharing my pronouns with you. My pronouns that I would like for you to refer when you're referring to me are she, her, hers. Often people will share their pronouns in the introductions here at the university. So if you feel safe to share those, you can start practicing doing that with your introduction. We will also share many resources around equity and inclusion later on. For today's session, today is a great way for you to share from a lot of different professionals and staff here at the University of Minnesota, talking about living off campus. We are part of this series called GGE, or Global Gopher Experiences. I want to thank our campus partners today from Off-Campus Living for our off-campus living workshops, particularly Austin Hollick from Housing Arrest Life, Kendra Turoni from Off-Campus Living, and Shayna Tomenes from Student Legal Services, as well as Nitya Morikinati from University of Minnesota Police Department, or UMPD. It is a wonderful opportunity to hear directly from our current students as well. So we will also have students presenting. And I will now pass it on to one of our amazing student leaders, Soliana, who, just like many of you, was once upon a time a new student like you participating in GGE. So Soliana.
Thank you, Marina. Hi, everybody. My name is Soliana Shakur. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm an international student studying computer science from Ethiopia. And I'm also a senior supervising GGE leader. The goal of this webinar is to officially welcome you as a U of M student, provide you with information about the U, and answer your questions. GGE has a bunch of fun events coming up for the summer, mostly online until August. So we encourage you to sign up for the next webinar and all of our Global Gopher Experience sessions. Today's event, next slide. Yeah, we will be talking about everything you need to know about off-campus housing. We have our amazing campus partners here to tell you everything you need to know and answer your questions as well. I'll pass it on to Austin.
Hello, everyone. My name is Austin Hollick. I use he, him, and they, them pronouns, and I work in the Housing and Residential Life Office here at the University of Minnesota. And today I will share with you some information about our off-campus listing service so that you can find housing near the University of Minnesota. We operate an off-campus housing website for our students here at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities, and properties pay to advertise on this website. And by participating in this service, the properties agree to comply with our off-campus housing program policy. You can see current listings anytime by going to this website on your screen, listings.umn.edu. And the map is updated daily. So make sure to check back several times to make sure that you're not missing out on new opportunities, or perhaps the opportunity that you thought was available is no longer available. These do update daily, so make sure to check back multiple times. Next slide, please. The best way to search for housing on this website is to filter by your preferences. So you can use the filters on this site to search for apartments in a variety of different ways. You can filter by bedrooms, bathrooms, price, rent by the person, or rent per the unit, and there's more filters available too. Once you filter by your preferences, you can use the map or the list that appears on the website to select properties that meet your criteria. Once you select a property that you're interested in, you can contact the property directly from this platform, and you can ask them your questions. And in particular, I encourage you to ask for a virtual tour of some kind. Sometimes website or properties will post a virtual tour on their website, and sometimes properties will do live virtual tours as well over Zoom. So make sure to ask about that when you're contacting the property. Next slide, please. One of the biggest questions we get is the cost of living or the cost of rent and what students are expected to pay when living in our campus neighborhoods. So my office works with a vendor to track market rate rentals in our communities. So this slide has what the average rates are for apartments over the past year here at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. The rent will vary depending on the size of your apartment and also the location, but in general, these are good baselines to use for trying to understand how much an apartment costs near our university. Some apartments rent by the entire apartment, which those rates you'll see on the left side of your screen. In these situations, usually students will share rent with another roommate, so they split their costs between other people in the apartment. Other apartments will rent by the bed. And on the right-hand side of your screen, you'll see the rates per bedroom. Now, sometimes when you're renting by the bed, there could be 2 beds in a single bedroom, or you could have your own bed in a private bedroom. A lot of times in these arrangements, the apartments are furnished, and typically students will pay for that entire cost of that bed. They don't split that cost with anyone else. Properties should be transparent when listing in this type of way. So you will see the rent either for the entire apartment, or you'll see the rent posted as rent per bedroom. When in doubt, you can always ask the property, is this rent for the entire apartment, or is this rent for just one bed in the apartment? That's always a good question to ask if you're confused on that. Next slide, please. Okay, so here are my recommendations on things to consider when searching for an apartment. Some of these considerations are apparent when looking for an apartment on our platform, and others you may have to ask the property or the leasing office if these questions can be answered by them. So probably the most important question to ask yourself is, how much are you able to pay for rent? And then how close do you want to live to campus? How many bedrooms do you need? Especially if you have a roommate, right? Maybe you and your roommate need your own bedrooms, maybe you don't, but that's something that you guys should consider when renting an apartment. Do you want your own bathroom, or can you share a bathroom with someone else? Do you need parking? If you have a car here in the Twin Cities, oftentimes you can rent a parking space, but it's almost always an additional cost in addition to rent, so be considerate of that. And then what do you need inside your apartment? Do you need the apartment to be furnished, or will you bring your own furniture? Almost every apartment will include basic appliances like a refrigerator and a stove, but sometimes additional appliances such as a dishwasher or maybe even a portable air conditioner might not be a part of the apartment. So those are always good questions to look into as well when you're searching for your apartment. The final thing I'll leave you with is a consideration on utilities. So here in Minnesota, sometimes utilities are included in the apartment rental rate and sometimes they're not. And what I mean by utilities are things like electricity, gas for heating and cooking, and even internet. Sometimes those utilities are included in rent and other times they're not. So that would be another good thing to look into when you're searching for your apartment so that you can understand the total monthly cost of that apartment to live close to the University of Minnesota. Okay, that's all for my presentation. I will turn it over to Kendra, who will talk more about the off-campus living office.
Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending on where you are. I'm Kendra Taroni. I'm the program director for off-campus living here on the Twin Cities campus. If you go to the next slide. I have a couple of resources I want to share for you for renting. The main focus of our office is to provide resources for renters and resources for students who commute to our campus. Primarily, all of you will be renting One Would Think. Our roommate finder service is a great tool for you. Basically, it is a resource in which students fill out a Google form, share information about what they're looking for themselves in a roommate situation. And we go in and we look at your application. We verify that you are an admitted or enrolled student and then grant you access to that spreadsheet. Individuals that are not students at the university or not going to be students are not allowed access to that. So in that way, it's kind of nice that we're not vetting the individuals. We're not checking out the people that you might be living with. You'll have to do that on your own, but you know that it's a university affiliated student. We also have a housing group on Facebook that we are the administrators for. Now, my caveat is that there are many housing groups for students on Facebook. We are the only one that's actually run by the university. And so again, with this housing group, the same way with the roommate finder, we do verify that we only admit people to the group that are actually enrolled or admitted students at the university. There are other groups you can use. You kind of buyer beware on those groups. There's a lot more spam on those groups. So we encourage you to utilize ours if you are looking. And then Austin just shared a lot of great information about the listing service that Housing and Residential Life has. We strongly encourage students to utilize that resource as the starting point when they're searching for housing, to look at locations that are available and whatnot. Next slide. So another great resource we offer from our office that would probably be one of the most important things you could look at or do would be our Renter Education Canvas course. Canvas is a platform that the university uses for all of your classes. So your faculty will set up your classes in Canvas. We've created a class for you that you can kind of do one section, you can do all the sections, you can do them in any order. If you go to the next slide, you can see what the different topics are within the Canvas Renter Education modules. So you can see, basically, we've taken everything we do in our renter education workshops that we partner with Student Legal Service on. My office and Student Legal Service work together to do workshops throughout the year. You'll see some, typically in November and February are the most common times we do those, but everything's online here. So if you're not able to get to one of those in person, this is a great resource for you. And the fact that you'd be able to do this now, since we don't have other Rent-A-Rent workshops happening now. The QR code is there and you have the link shared in the chat. Next slide. So I always like to highlight quickly for you another resource that's not in my office, but related to roommates. We have an office called the Student Conflict Resolution Center, and they are available if you ever have concerns come up with your roommates. When you're thinking about identifying people to live with, here are some sample questions. These are some similar things that, that Austin may have mentioned, but these are particular things to talk with someone else about what they want their living environment to be like. But if you do run into a situation where maybe you need mediation, you're having a conflict with your roommate, the Student Conflict Resolution Center is an office on campus. That's a great resource for you. Next slide. So I have some information here just on different neighborhoods that you might want to consider. And so the East Bank neighborhood is these are the three neighborhoods within the closest to the East Bank campus. They're typically within 1.5 miles of the East Bank campus, the Marcy Homes neighborhood, the Southeast Como neighborhood, and the Prospect Park neighborhood. These are the three oldest neighborhoods in the city of Minneapolis. And I always like to mention that some of the apartments might be newer. If you're looking at a house rental, some of the houses might be quite old and from the, could be anywhere from the 1950s and 60s to as old as the early 1900s. So you do want to pay attention. Typically the older houses are going to have higher utility bills and whatnot. The apartments, though, are pretty consistent in the pricing that Austin shared. Are the things you might want to look for there. We just highlighted here some nearby grocery stores to consider what the local transit options are in terms of maybe it's by the bus lines, maybe it's by the light rail, things to think of in that way. Next slide. I will highlight for you, these are the West Bank neighborhoods. So if you're studying on our West Bank of our campus, the Cedar Riverside neighborhood and the Seward neighborhood are the closest neighborhoods for your rental experience there. Again, both have multiple grocery options. Cedar Riverside is the closest to downtown. If you have to be doing an internship there, perhaps. So you can see the transportation there. Both are by light rail and the bus system as well. And then the last neighborhood highlight I do on the next slide would be our St. Paul campus. So sorry, I was waiting for things to catch up there. And so the neighborhoods closest to our St. Paul campus are the Falcon Heights neighborhood, the Como Park neighborhood, and the St. Anthony Park. Again, highlighting some things there to know in terms of being close to shopping or the fairgrounds, and then which ones. The Falcon Heights neighborhood is going to be close to the campus connector. The Como Park and St. Anthony Park have both busing, and St. Anthony Park has access to light rail as well. All right, next slide. So I always like to highlight for you, we have a program called Pack and Give Back. And that's an opportunity where we encourage students when they're getting ready to move out in May that they can donate items they no longer need. So this will be a great resource for you when you're moving out, but it's also a resource for you when you're moving in if you're needing items. And so it offers household goods, small pieces of furniture. If you're in the res halls, you have the opportunity to request microwaves, futons, fridges, mini fridges to be available. And so they do have a pop-up free store, which has a lot of clothing in it that they put in part of Welcome Week. And that's going to be in the Whole Music Club on the Tuesday of Welcome Week from 11 to 8. They do some small household items there, but if you want to see the majority of the items, there is a location out in the Southeast Como neighborhood at 883 29th Avenue. You can take the city buses to be able to get out there. Or if you're living in the Southeast Como neighborhood, you might be within walking distance as well. And it's right across the street from the family and partnered student housing the Housing at Res Life operates. All the items, they have an aisle where everything in there is free for you to take. So it's a great way to get, if you need some help furnishing your apartment or some supplies, you can do that. I also like to identify that that same program that has the free aisle, the reused warehouse, also has a storage option during the summer. So next year, when you might need to store some things, if you're traveling over summer or perhaps going home and then coming back for the following fall, they do have an option where you can do storage for the whole summer or short-term storage for 1 month or less if you need to. Sometimes there'll be a short-term end on your lease where maybe you need to move out of your rental apartment in that first or second week of August, but you can't move back in somewhere else until the third week of August or the 1st of September. So I always like students to know about this resource if they need it. Next slide. I always like to highlight just real quickly for you what some of the public transit options are. I did highlight, I mentioned by name a couple ones when I went over the neighborhood slides. So you'll see if you go to, you can find information on the campus connector. And we have campus circulators that go around to help you get from place to place between the Minneapolis and St. Paul campus or within the East Bank campus, within the West Bank campus. We have the campus circulators. The parking and transportation website as the link that's been put there in the chat has the Gopher Trip app that gives you you can look and see what the upcoming time is. Campus connectors run every 5 minutes during fall and spring semesters. During breaks, they run every 15 minutes. There's great information there. The city of Minneapolis and city of St. Paul have great, Metro Transit is a great resource for you that offers bus lines. We have light rail and bikeways you can use too if you're biking to our campus. There's also lots of great information through the parking and transportation site for that. If you are needing to plan your trips with the bus line or the light rail, you can use the Metro Transit Trip Planner and take advantage of that. I do like to point out your student ID that you'll get is considered a bus pass and a light rail pass automatically. Students who pay the transportation and safety fee as a part of their student service fee, which is an automatic charge that you have. It's about $45 a semester, and that guarantees you a ride on any of the buses or light rails that are available near our campus or throughout the Twin Cities area, which is a great resource. To activate your U-Card, your student ID card, to utilize that service, we do have at the information desk at the Student Union, you can go up and tap it there, or anytime you go to actually get on the bus or get on light rail, you can tap it. You tap once to activate, and the second time you tap, it should be good to use from then on. So next slide. All right, I just always like to highlight a couple safety resources for you. These are operated by other offices, not mine, but we have our 624 walk program that the University of Minnesota Police Department has trained security staff that will walk with you anywhere on campus up to a mile off campus or back to campus. You can call to request it. They also have an app that you can use. We have the Gopher Chauffeur program, which is operated by our Boynton Health, and that is a student-run driving service that can pick up students and drop them off at areas near campus. It is a late-night service, so it operates 8:30 to 12:30 a.m. on Sunday through Wednesday. On Thursday through Saturday, it runs from 10 p.m. to 2:30 a.m. Was first started as a way to give students a ride if they were going to be out drinking at local establishments nearby, but it has moved to be more of a safety program, just giving people rides. So whether you're studying or out socializing, you can utilize that. And you can call or use an app for that as well. We have a blue light kiosk program. You'll see the picture on the right side of the screen is a picture with an emergency blue tower. Those actually have phones built in, and many of them also have video cameras built in. These are ways that if you're walking around on campus and on the edges of our campus, if you need to access emergency resources, you just hit the button on there and it connects you immediately to our emergency dispatch, which is our 911 service for the University Police. And the police arrive typically within a minute to that location to assist you and could talk to you on the phone should you need help. If you ever were to have for example, your phone stolen, hitting one of those gets you in touch with the police right away. If you're ever just not feeling safe, or there's maybe a medical emergency nearby, it's a great resource to ask for help. And then the last safety resource I want to highlight for you is the Rave Guardian app. And this is an app that the University of Minnesota Police Department has made available to our students and staff and faculty. And basically, it's an app where you can designate a virtual walking buddy. You enter the location you're planning to walk to or bike to, and you estimate how much time you think it will take you to get there. And then you start it, and then you go about your way, you arrive, and you check in. If you don't check in on the app, you have entered guardians, or basically friends or family, people, individuals that you would want to know, like to check in on you. So if you don't arrive, they will reach out, and you can designate the police department on campus, our public safety staff, as one of the guardians, so they can reach out to you by phone or come out in person to locate you if you don't check in. So it's just a nice resource there that the public safety department pays for. All right, next slide would be, we want to encourage you to sign up for our newsletters. If you're going to be renting in the near neighborhoods to campus, we typically do a newsletter each month to let you know about local resources, programming, things that are going to make your student rental experience better. We also have one for commuters if you are perhaps living with family, near to campus. Anyone is commuting into campus from a little bit further away would do the commuter newsletter as well. And then my last slide, if you go to the next one, is just our social media to encourage you to follow us on social media, Off Campus Gopher. As Marina mentioned, Gopher is our nickname that we use for everyone. So we want to welcome you as Off Campus Gophers and encourage you to reach out to our office. We are located at 17 Appleby Hall. Our email is there. My phone number is there if you need to get a hold of us. We can offer you advice on your rental search if you're needing some assistance. At this point in time, I'm going to pass it off to Natia. Thanks.
Thank you, Kendra. Thanks for a detailed explanation about all the off-campus living resources, and thanks for also describing about the public safety resources like 612 Walk and the Gopher Chauffeur, which I use a lot. Hello, everyone. This is Nitya Mulkinati. I am the UMPD International Intern. I work with the University of Minnesota Police Department, and like I said, I'm an international intern, so that means I'm an international student here. I'm doing my master's in data science right now, and I'm here to help you out with all the safety concerns that you would be having, you might be having with the as an international student. And you could always reach out to me at the website and the mail that is shown on the screen. And welcome to University of Minnesota. And I'm passing on to Student Legal Services to take on.
Thanks so much. Hi, everyone. My name is Sheena Timenis. I'm an attorney here at the University of Minnesota Student Legal Service. We're a full service law firm that you have access to as part of paying your student service fee. You have access to free attorneys, 7 attorneys, 2 paralegals, law clerks, and support staff. Could I have the next slide, please? I always say we have this big, large thing, and I want everyone to know that you should contact us anytime you have a legal question. Laws vary from state to state in the United States, let alone country to country, right? So I would say if you have a legal question, we have a legal answer. And if we don't have it, we know the right person. But what I want to talk to you about specifically today when you're kind of starting your housing search is leases. So in Minnesota, leases are binding once you sign them. So it's really, really important that you have somebody who's a trained professional look at your lease before you sign it. So we have an office, we have a service through our office that even before you come on campus, you have access to us to have us review your lease. You want to make sure that you have someone who's talking through with you and like telling you what to look for in your lease, certain things that might be unique to a certain property that you're going to want to consider. Leases really vary in the state of Minnesota. Some leases are 5 pages long, some are 45 pages long, and they're all full of, I like to call it, the very professional term is legal mumbo jumbo, right? So you want to make sure that you understand what you're doing and that you feel confident and great in your choice. But if you're saying, I'm looking right now, Shayna, and I want to know what to look for, we have a couple quick things that we want you to know. The first is is that don't sign until you know exactly where you want to live. Often you might feel pressured, or they say sign by Friday or sign by this day. You should know there's plenty of housing near campus, and it's more important that you feel good about your choice than maybe the difference between, you know, oh, this one apartment and another. Often there isn't really a there isn't real urgency there. There's just, that's one of their sale tactics, is they try to push you and say you need to sign today. And that's not usually true. It's usually worthwhile to contact us first and kind of go through that. You should also make sure to do your homework on the landlord. Google reviews is a really important tool to check out to make sure that that you know exactly what you're getting into and exactly what the things that the landlord is known for on Google. I always say every landlord is good at certain things and they're bad at other things. And you want to make sure that the things that they are bad at are not the things that would derail your studies. So for example, if noise is a really big problem for you, don't live in a place where they say, oh, my neighbors are up till 3 a.m. every night and the walls are really, really thin here. That would probably not be a good match for you, right? So we want to make sure that we're meeting those needs as well. Could I have the next slide, please? Another thing you're going to want to know about is some places in Minnesota require a security deposit and some places do not require a security deposit. A security deposit is not rent money. It's money that's held when you pay your lease that's going to be put in a separate bank account that the landlord can use to take money out of if you kind of wreck the place or you cause damage to the place while you're living there. You want to make sure that to protect that money that they've put in a separate account, that you take really good photos and videos when you move into the place, so you know what the place looked like when you moved in. You know, that way you don't get charged for a scuff mark that's near the stove that was there when you got there. You want to show that and have that in photos and videos, and then kind of leave it the same way you found it, right? Minnesota requires you to leave things in the same condition minus normal wear and tear is the words that we use, which just means, you know, you shouldn't be expected to replace the carpet because the carpet's a little bit more worn, but you would be required to replace the carpet if you spilt a bunch of red soda all over the carpet, all over white carpet, right? So that's kind of what that looks like. Could I have the next slide, please? Another thing you're going to want to know about on your lease is it has to identify some basic information. It has to have your name and the landlord's name and contact information. That has to be on the first page of the lease. You have to know who to contact if you have a problem at your apartment. You need to have the rental amount on that first page. The rent amount in Minnesota also has to include on that first page of the lease all non-optional fees. So a non-optional fee is they'll advertise on their website, rent is $6.50 a month. But what they don't put on the website is, and there's a $15 a month trash fee, right? And it's not optional. You don't maybe have the trash fee, maybe not have the trash fee. All of those fees also have to be listed on the first page of the lease. You also have to have your lease term. So what the start date of the lease is and the end date of the lease. You really want to watch those dates. In Minnesota, near campus, there's a lot of landlords who will have days other than the first or last day of the month. So they'll say it starts August 27th, 2024, and it ends on August 8th, 2025. And if you're like, wow, that term doesn't really work for me, I plan to go home for the summer, or I plan to do this during the school year. You really want to work out some of those issues beforehand and contact our office to talk about your different legal options there. It also has to have your unit number on it. I should mention that it's really important. This is a common thing that happens on campus specifically to international students, is there are several properties near campus that have entire units, so entire apartment complex, entire like your whole house, or certain bedrooms that do not have windows in them. So what you know, off-campus housing and what residential life we're talking about, we're doing that virtual tour is really important. You want to know your unit numbers so you know you're touring the right unit, right? Because you don't want, many students do not want to live in a unit without windows. That is significant mental health concerns and really messes with sleep patterns. Some students, it doesn't cause any problems at all, and that is a great fit. What you want to do is have the choice around that. Google reviews will also identify which sorts of apartment complexes have that sort of issue where they'll say, oh, this one has units without windows, or this one does. You can also ask a leasing agent, does the unit that I'm getting assigned have a window? Important to know. Next slide, please. Lastly, this is a similar thing. You want to know about scams, right? You want to make sure that the scams nowadays are really sophisticated, like surprisingly sophisticated. This is not something where it's a robocall. This is, they will have real photos of an apartment complex. They'll take video tours with you. And sometimes it can be really sophisticated where people get tricked and they've given somebody a bunch of money and they show up and and there's no apartment there. So ways to avoid scams are to use the listing service and avoid Craigslist or non-university affiliated sites, especially when you are searching and you don't have a trusted person who can come look and verify the property. It's a really good idea to stay conservative. Use the university resources, right? That's why we're here to help people. So we want to make sure that we're doing that. Don't send payments and gift cards. Gift cards will never be a way that landlords accept money. So that is an immediate red flag. It's also a common scam in Minnesota. And then in doubt, if you're like, this seems too good to be true, it usually is. So make sure to have us look it over, talk to somebody about it. We're happy to help. And we look forward to working with you. I think that's all I have, and I will pass it over to Jaden with our Global Goal for Student Leaders.
Thank you. My name is Jaden Antoine. I am a senior here at the University of Minnesota. My pronouns are he, him, and I am wrapping up my education studying business marketing and education. So I am here to just offer some quick tips from a current international student's perspective. So firstly, be sure to read the lease contract carefully. As I said before, as an international, there may be a lot of terms, practices, and loopholes that we are not familiar with. So the lease is a very important document. We would say the most important document when it comes to renting. And it contains a lot more than just your leasing period and rent payment amount. So it is very important to read that and then compare the prices so you can identify if the housing is furnished or not. And some housings even come with necessary furniture while others have only the essentials in the kitchen and bathroom. So the price also depends on how well it is furnished. Another thing is the price may depend on some apartments allowing pets, some do not allow pets or only allow cats. You will also need to know the policy of repairing and maintenance. As said before, when it comes to your security deposit, it is good to have a great understanding of the maintenance you are expected to have at the unit, as well as how repairing works if something is to go wrong. Each apartment has different rules for people staying over as well. So you would need to be able to check these things carefully and understand which fees might not be refundable. And sometimes it is very confusing. So it is very important to seek help and understand how the lease works and read it very carefully, since it contains information you may need to make sure you are satisfied with before signing. So and as said earlier, you can feel free to contact Adam or Sana or anyone who is versed in this field to get a greater understanding. So, for parking and public transportation, I'll slide it over to Soliana.
Thank you for sharing, Jaden. I will talk a little bit about parking and public transportation. Actually, public transportation is very accessible in Minneapolis because it's one of the most accessible cities, the Twin Cities. That means the Minnesota, Minneapolis, and St. Paul. My tips about parking public transportation is, if you have a vehicle like a car, don't forget to check the parking option for your housing and know campus parking policies via the campus parking and transportation services. The link is going to be shared in the chat. If you don't have a vehicle, check the available public transportation options nearby your housing by using the Google Map to check your classes locations and plan your transportation time accordingly using Gopher Trip to check the schedule of school buses, such as Campus Connectors 121, and using Metro Transit app to check the schedule for Metro Transit light rail and buses. It is never wrong to be familiar with your public transportation options and have plans for your travel. We, as university students, have access to transportation using our U-Card, so it's free and very accessible. And now I'll pass it on to Marina to share a few reminders to you all.
Thank you, Jaden and Soliana, and for all of our campus partners for sharing important information as well. If you prefer asynchronous review, that means watching this on your own time, the required international student preparation course you must all take prior to arriving also has this content on module 2.11. So even if you are trying to get links and all of that, you can find a lot of what has been shared on here today on the International Student Preparation course, which is part of your Global Gopher required task. On the next slide, I will mention just a little bit that you are required once you arrive here to the United States or Minnesota to update your address in your My ISSS within 10 days of your arrival. So this is a requirement for all of our international students. It's part of your new Global Gopher required task. And you know what? If you have any questions, we have staff here today that can answer your questions in the Q&A about this specific requirement as well. But that's just a good reminder that it's important to secure your housing when you arrive because you will have to update that address. And if you move, you have to also update that address as well. On the next slide, I will be asking Daniel to share with all of you how to stay connected with all of us.
Hi everyone, my name is Daniel. I'm a current supervising senior Global Gopher leader, and I'm originally from Singapore. I'm now going to cover with you guys how to stay connected with ISSS. There are many ways to stay connected with ISSS. The first one being our website, which the link will be sent in the chat. And you can also visit our Global Gopher Experiences website, where we also post the upcoming webinars. You can also contact us at our email, which will also be sent in the chat, and a staff member will respond to you in a couple of days. Always remember that as an international student, it is never wrong to ask any questions, and you can also feel free to follow us on our Instagram handle and Facebook. We are now going to segue into the Q&A portion. Next slide, thank you. We're now going to segue into the Q&A portion. We have received several questions, and we will be asking our panelists to respond to these questions. In the meantime, please take note that in Zoom, you can use the Q&A function to submit questions anonymously. And although we might not be able to address all your questions, we will be mainly focusing on questions that were submitted during the registration of this webinar. If your question was not answered, you can always feel free to email us and we will get back to you. Me personally, I would say definitely do take use of the time that you have now to ask any questions that you have, because being an international student is tough. And sometimes there just might not be things that you see coming. And it always helps to know and then as opposed to have to figure out by yourself later. With that, I'll pass it on to Marina to facilitate the Q&A. Marina, please.
Thank you, Daniel, for introducing the Q&A function. Again, please go ahead and submit your questions. We have a bunch of questions that we have received in the last few weeks. So I will be asking Austin to come back on stage with us to answer a few questions. So the first one, Austin, that we've received is, if I'm trying to look for example, like a female roommate, and I'm trying to find that, where would I be able to find a female roommate in Minneapolis?
Okay, thanks for the question. I think there's a couple different ways to search for roommates. The one I will recommend is to go to that off-campus housing website that Kendra talked about. They have a roommate finder on there. The first thing you actually see on that website in one of the tiles is a roommate finder. From there, you can fill out a form with your information and your roommate preferences. One of those preferences is gender. And from there, they will put you on a list where you can then search for roommates from there. I do think people find roommates informally too, through either their program or their friends that they have on campus. But the official formal way to look for roommates here at the university is through that roommate finder site on the off-campus living website. Kendra, do you have anything else you want to add to that?
No, I think that kind of covers it. I think it's just important for you to, yeah, if that's important to you, you can filter the spreadsheet to identify that. And we do encourage people, to reach out and have those discussions if there are any topics that might make someone, uncomfortable or that's important for you to have in a roommate. That's a chance for you to talk with individuals through that before you make that decision.
Well, thanks, Austin and Kendra, for answering that question. Again, a huge reminder to all of you to use University of Minnesota official channels, because staff over here, as they have mentioned, they verify that they are indeed a University of Minnesota student, or that they have, and they're part of the official listing.umn.edu websites as well. So you definitely want to use the resources that our campus partners have shared, because they do a lot of work to make sure that they're indeed University of Minnesota students. Another question, Austin, some housing options that I will be applying to have moving dates starting around the 19th of August because of orientation. I have to arrive on August 10th. Are there any quality temporary housing options provided for the meantime?
The Housing and Residential Life Office offers guest housing, but only through August 11th this year. We have limited guest housing through the end of August because we have to get our on-campus resident halls ready for the fall move-in, which occurs just a few weeks later. So in general, I can share that link if you're going to arrive before August 11th. But otherwise, you would need to look for an apartment or an accommodation that would have a lease term different than what you are asking in this question, a lease term that would accommodate your on-campus orientation, and to be really mindful, kind of like what Shana was talking about, of what is that lease term and can that lease term be flexible with your property manager or not. Sometimes it can, but other times it cannot. Shana, do you have anything else that you want to add about that lease term question?
No, that's a great question. I would say that the early August is tough, especially very close to campus. So you're already asking the right questions. I would say that often students will do a number of things. One is they will ask a place that they are assigning, I see the lease term starts August 25th. Can I pay more rent and start on an earlier day? That's sometimes for some landlords that works just fine. Some students also have a lease term that is ending in like late August and they don't want to live there anymore. So they will, offer that space to you when you pay a rental amount. So that's something where that service is highlighted on the Facebook group that Off-Campus Housing Kendra's office has. So that's a place to look to, because that's, another gopher. Another thing that you can also think about is they do have options near campus like an Airbnb or a Vrbo. Those are kind of short-term, more hotel-style living. It's often quite expensive. Sometimes it's a necessary expense if you are required to be here early, and that's kind of the last chance. So I would say kind of explore these other options first because they tend to be, better cost-wise. But if that's a last-second option, that might be also what you're looking for, and could be a cost that you split with other people who are in a similar boat as you.
Hey, thank you, Austin and Shana. I'm also aware of international early arrival housing for some of our newly admitted international students. However, that ends on August 21st, right, Austin? But I highly recommend students to perhaps explore that. But then great advice on asking your lease folks, for those that are renting to you, if they can start perhaps at least a little bit earlier, they might be able to make those accommodations as well. So it's always good to ask, and there's several options on campus as well as off campus for temporary housing. So my other question, Austin and maybe Shana or Kendra, some places require me to pay a deposit. What is that? Maybe Austin, if I don't know if you could answer that, or maybe Shana from a legal perspective.
Yeah, first I'll put a link to the International Early Arrival Housing as well, because that is another resource that might get you some extended time on campus for that guest. Shayna covered security deposits in her presentation. A security deposit is something that you will pay as a deposit, not as rent, but as a deposit for future possible charges at time of move out. So say you maybe something is broken in your apartment and it's found to be your fault, that would cover something that you had broken in your apartment, or if there's any damages. The thing about security deposits is that sometimes landlords will assess a security deposit and then you might want to contest that. And then that is something that you would want to get international student student legal services involved with. And then Shayna, if you want to say anything else about that, you certainly could.
Yeah, I would say security deposits are one fee, but they're different than some other non-optional fees that students also have to pay, and that can be very confusing. So often places will charge you for applying either an application fee or an administrative fee. Those are non-refundable fees that I like to call them just because fees, that you don't get anything from it other than the ability to apply. It kind of pays for the cost of your application and maybe a background study if that's required by that apartment. So you want to make sure that you understand what kind of fee you're being charged and when you're being charged it. Sometimes they will make you pay fees before you even apply or during the application process. And some fees will actually be charged as part of your first month's rent. So you want to make sure that you don't get a surprise bill right when you move in that you haven't, factored into your financial plan. So definitely look at those different fees and understand that the only word of a security deposit, if it doesn't say the word security and the word deposit, it's not a security deposit. Security deposit's like a legal term of art that has a very specific meaning on what they have to do and how they'll use it. But they have lots of other words for different kinds of fees that are not security deposits.
Well, Shayna, that's a really good reminder that it just seems like there's so much to navigate with lease signing, and to really encourage students to utilize the services at University Student Legal Services to have your lease reviewed by their professional staff. To that question, Shayna, do students have to pay to see an attorney at your office?
Oh, the great question. I apologize. No, it's free. It's totally free. Your student service fee pays for it. Many Gophers have to wait until they're on campus to use our service. We use matriculated students, but Global Gophers can access our services today. So all you have to say is that you are a Global Gopher, that you attended ISSS, different trainings, and that you want to have your lease reviewed, or you have a different legal question. We're here to help you. I know it can be a really complicated time, and we want to make it easier for you, right? What legal services can we provide to you? So definitely reach out to us. We don't charge anything for our lease reviews, for our representation, or our advice. So reach out to us right away when you have any questions. We often get students from the time you call us or send us an email to come in to when you can see us is usually within a couple days or a week. So it's very fast. We're here to help.
Okay, thank you, Shayna, for that. I'll continue with some questions for you as well. Some places require me to have a U.S. guarantor for a rent application. Can you tell me more about that?
Sure. So what some apartment complexes are worried about is scams. And you're getting stuck in this situation where you're not a scam and it's hard to prove a negative. So what they want is they want a U.S. guarantor, so somebody that they could, run a credit report on or a background report on that exists. Often they may make it seem that is a requirement. And for some places it legitimately is. And you might want to find a different property. It's not a universal property. Many properties don't require that or have a workaround. If you're getting stuck and you're like, this is the only property that works for me and meets all of my needs, you should get individualized legal advice. While it is not well advertised that there's often workarounds, there typically are. Minnesota law says we can't discriminate in housing on the basis of national origin, meaning you can't, give a better status to someone who has a connection to the United States than someone who doesn't have a connection to the United States and deny them housing. So you want to make sure that you're getting legal advice on that process, and usually just requires some creative working with them because they're unfamiliar. I would say often if someone's telling you like something like that, it might be a sign that they may not be a good fit for you because they're not familiar with kind of the application process, and it could require a lot of extra time on your end. That doesn't mean it's impossible or it's insurmountable, but it does mean you probably want our help before you get started.
Thank you, Shayna, for covering those questions around legal items. As you probably noticed, in the United States, we do focus a lot on policies and laws. And so if where you're from, you don't typically are used to that, just know that there are people here to help you navigate that. But it is also important to be reading all of the things that you're signing for. On the other hand of navigating off-campus living, I'm going to be inviting Kendra maybe to answer a few questions about what it's like to live off campus. Can you tell us a little bit more, Kendra, about safety in our off-campus accommodations?
Sure. So safety is always a big question for students. And I always like to point out we're an urban campus, and like any urban area, there's going to be crime. So I don't want people to be deterred by crime reports. The university has actually done a lot of work to improve our sharing of crime information with you. And we have an alert system that's gotten more, it's gotten stronger and more frequent in the recent years. And so I just want students to realize like that's not necessarily something to put you off from our locations. There's going to be crime no matter where you're living in Minneapolis or St. Paul because of the urban areas. It's really important for you there's lots of safety tips that the university offers from the police department, the public safety department online. If you go to, to their publicsafety.umn.edu, sorry, it's not a link that they're, we can type that in the chat. But there is information about crime stats, things to think of. It's really important for you to do anything you can to keep yourself safe, right? Being your own best advocate for safety. And we do have lots of great resources for you. The areas closest to campus, the way the police department in Minneapolis breaks up their services, they are in different precincts. The precinct that's closest to the East Bank campuses are within 2nd precinct. And I always like to share, when you look at the 5 precincts of the Minneapolis Police Department, 2nd precinct typically has the lowest levels of crime incidences compared to some other precincts. And not to say that it's the safer or safest, but it has a little bit less crime than other areas of the city. So I think that can be reassuring to keep in mind.
Thank you, Kendra, for sharing that. And as you probably all noticed, we have a lot of information. We work closely with the University of Minnesota Police Department, who are actually staff here at the University of Minnesota. They're actually paid by the university, and they work in partnership with other local Minnesota police departments. And if you are just intimidated to reaching out to them or ask them any questions, you do have Nitya's contact information. She put in a link for a Google form that you can then submit your questions, but we are also more than happy to help navigate some of those questions or connect with our partners to answer that for you. Kendra, can I ask you one more question about signing contracts? A lot of these students are not here yet. If they're freshman students, you have to arrive by August 19th. If you're a transfer student, that's around August 29th. And if you're a grad student, it really depends on the start of your program. But a lot of them are not going to be arriving until August. Some of them are asking, does it make sense to try and find a home when they come to the US, or should they sign before they arrive? Trying to figure out the best timing for this. I know, Shayna, you might have some other responses as well, but I invite Kendra to maybe answer first.
Sure. I think if you're interested in signing before you come, you can, but you do not need to. There are a lot of rental locations available near campus. There's actually more housing than there are students right now. There's a larger supply of rental locations than students, but the locations that are closest to our campus are probably all full. So you might need to consider living a couple blocks away, 3 blocks away, 6 blocks away, 9 blocks away. So your commute time to getting to campus, walking, biking, busing might be a little longer, but there are plenty of spaces. So if you do wait to find a location when you come to campus, you can. So yeah, I don't know, Shayna, if you don't want to add anything else in there, but I know that's stressful to wait, right? So some people, if they, want to get it done sooner, that might be best.
I 100% agree with you, Kendra, that what you want to weigh is like your sureness of like, I know where I'm going to stay and I have a plan, with the risk that you've never seen this place before, right? And I would say that the balance of that is different for each person. One thing that comes up from time to time at the beginning of the semester that I just want to flag is many places near campus will not give you an apartment, let you sign a lease, and have you move in that same day. Often they'll need a couple days at least to make sure that the unit is totally ready, that the paperwork goes all the way through, that they do any required background checks that they do. So that sometimes can be confusing to students who are like, all right, so I got one hotel for Sunday night and I'm going to find an apartment Monday morning and go forward. And then they have to, wait a couple days. So I would say factor that into your choice too, right? Is I'm okay staying for maybe a week in some sort of temporary housing while I find my permanent housing. And kind of that, I agree with Kendra that is not a problem. You absolutely can find housing. There is quite a bit of supply and there's a variety of choices for you. That being said, there will be a little bit of a gap between when you move in here and when you get your apartment keys.
Well, thank you to our campus partners, Austin, Kendra, and Shayna, as well as Nitya from UMPD for answering, a lot of our questions. As you probably noticed, there are some things that you are required to do, and we will tell you you must do. And there's a lot of things that we will be telling you, you have to determine what is best for you. This is one of those questions of trying to navigate coming here to the United States and living on your own. And so some things will work better for some students than not. And it's always important for you to be asking those questions and reaching out to us. I would like to invite Daniel and Jaden to just answer really quickly. We talked a lot about forms and leases and policies and applications and websites, but you're going to come here and live off campus. How hard is it for us to make friends living off campus? I know that has been a concern for a lot of students. Kendra talked about, well, if you're going to be living 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 blocks away, how am I going to get around? So Daniel and Jaden, can you share about your experiences living off campus and navigating that?
Yeah, I can go real quick. I'd say when you live off campus, it's really not a bad thing because you can always reach out to more student groups or find common hobbies. One thing I always like to share with new students, and I'll send the link to the chat right now, is if you want to find common student groups that you have hobbies with, you could go to GopherLink and you can filter by literally all types of things. If you want to find like a robotics group or like a math group, you can literally go to GopherLink and find that too. So to answer your question, Marina, I think living off campus is fine. You just have to put in the effort to maintain your relationships while you're off campus. Like I always tell people, you get out of it how much you put into it. So if you want to maintain those relationships or establish them in the first place, you got to put yourself out there. But you guys will be fine. Let me just tell you that. Jaden, would you like to add anything else?
Yeah, sure. So as Danielle said, I would encourage everyone not to be intimidated by living off campus. I have lived both off campus and on campus. And honestly, I would say there's quite the experience in living off campus. So you really do need to invest in putting yourself out there. However, a lot of apartment complexes or apartment buildings make this easier through communal areas and lounges. So when you move in, if you're looking to make new friends, I would suggest go into the lounge in your building or the community area just to be acquainted with some of your new neighbors or roommates. And also when it comes to becoming a part of a group or finding an identity on campus, there are many student-led groups on campus that allow you to meet people who are just like you, whether it be a minority or international or from a specific country. Even here at the Global Gopher Experiences, GGE, we host a lot of events to allow international students to meet each other and mix and mingle. Lastly, you could head over to Kaufman Memorial Hall. There are a lot of student-led groups there who have their offices. So yeah, that's a couple of suggestions from me.
Thank you, Daniel and Jaden, for sharing your student experiences living off campus. Whether you choose to live on campus or you choose to live off campus, there's many ways for you to get engaged with other students, meet new friends. There's a lot of resources here. And as you can see today, we had amazing campus partners that really want to make your experience living off campus the best that it can be. And we closely work with them, and we have constant meetings with them to ensure that international students can have as best of an experience as they can. Again, a very quick reminder, make sure you get your leases reviewed by University Student Legal Services. Make sure you use University of Minnesota specific resources such as listing.umn.edu. And make sure you review the off-campus living Canvas course that Kendra showed to you as well, because that's going to have a lot of information that we didn't have enough time to cover today that will help make things much easier for you as you navigate living off campus. I will now pass it on over to Daniel to just, we will wrap up our Q&A right now. If you have any further questions, please email us at issssnew@umn.edu. But Daniel, please introduce the next session that we will be having.
Thank you, Marina. We hope you've enjoyed this session because there are many more upcoming sessions just like this one. The next one is about getting to know the state of Minnesota, and it is on June 26th, 8 to 9 Central Time, same time. The link to register is in the chat, or alternatively, you may refer to the ISSS page for upcoming events. I'll now hand it over to Marina to take us out. Marina, please.
Thank you, Daniel. And again, thank you everybody for being part of this webinar. We will be playing a video. You do not have to stay to watch Goldie Gopher dance, but you can definitely do that and dance with us as we say goodbye to you all. We will also be sending you an email sometime in the next few days with the links that we shared, and recordings will be up on our website as well. So thank you again, everybody, and goodbye. We'll see you at the next session.
I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off it. I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric wavy when I turn it on. Off from my city, off from my home. We're flying up no ceiling when we in our zone. I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off it, moving so phenomenally. You're more like the way we rock it, so don't stop. And under the lights when everything goes, nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. When we move, well, you already know. So just imagine. Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Feel good, good creeping up on you. So just dance, dance, dance. Come on. All those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. And ain't nobody leaving soon, so keep dancing. I can't stop the feeling. So just dance, dance, dance. So just dance, dance, dance. Come on. Ooh, it's something magical. It's in the air, it's in my blood, it's rushing on. I don't need no reason, don't need control. I fly so high, no ceiling when I'm in my zone. Cause I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off it, moving so phenomenally. You're more like the way we rock it, so don't stop, stop, stop. Under the lights when everything goes, nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. When we move, well, you already know. So just imagine. but you when you dance, dance, dance. Feel the good, good creeping up on you, so just dance, dance, dance. Come on, all those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. And ain't nobody leaving soon, so keep dancing. Can't stop the feeling. So just dance, dance, dance. So just dance, dance, dance. So just dance, dance, dance. Stop the feeling, yeah. So keep dancing. Oh, yeah, yeah. I can't stop the. 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 Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Feel good, good creeping up on you, so just dance, dance, dance. All those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. Ain't nobody leaving soon, so keep dancing. Everybody say.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you all in 2 weeks. Bye.